What's up, Nova Heads? It's Amber Nova.
This is Chris Lights Out Lytle.
This is Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
Ice Boogie.
It's the real and raw August Artois.
This is Smiling Sam Alvey.
It's Archimedes.
I'm Jack Cartwheel, the real deal, the human highlight reel.
This is Steve Mowry.
I'm Victor Henry.
It's ECW Original, The Enforcer, CW Anderson.
This is Honest John.
Moreno. It's Mr. Classic.
I'm Jason Poulet.
The young goes.
It's old Howdy Price here.
When I say what's my name, tonight.
My name is Gino Guerrero, the Frank Sinatra of the Spanish Mafia.
The incredible one, Anthony Idol.
This is Ken Shamrock.
The Golden Boy, Jordan Clearwater.
Yo, watch and listen.
Championship online.
This is Alex Morris here. Hi, Richard Modest.
So, please listen to it, otherwise be cursed. Okay, see you later, London dinners.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition here at Championship on the Line podcast. I'm your host, Rich, and today we have another episode of Lucha Talk, and I'm very excited as I'm talking to professional wrestler and martial artist. He's been featured in CMLL, AEW Dark recently. He is a Red River champion, also NPX Addicts champion, the one and only JD Griffey.
What's up, man? Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate everything, It's been a crazy grind, but here we are. We at it again, putting in work,
Oh no, it's awesome to see you in the shows. We talked a little bit before the show that I was hustling and working, and to see you recently in Dark
Absolutely.
is awesome.
Yes,
We'll talk more about
Thank you,
that.
guys.
No,
Yeah, we're gonna get into that, right? We're gonna get into that, yeah. For sure.
For sure. But before we do something, before getting into the interview, we like to do this thing called Fun Questions.
Okay.
It's quick. It's okay. We do that with you.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's do it.
Awesome. So first question, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, that's super. It's a toss-up between two, but it depends on when you ask me. But today, because the new Top Gun's coming out, it's Top Gun, the original Top Gun. A close second is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. Those are my two.
Awesome.
Those are my two. But today, because the new Top Gun's coming out, and I'm a big Tom Cruise fan, Top Gun, the original Top Gun, it's so crazy. My parents used to watch it all the time, and so I didn't even know what was going on as a little kid. I was just watching this old movie, and I was just like, oh, this is so cool. But yeah, Top Gun.
Awesome. You got to go, especially the classics. I know they try to redo it, but
yeah,
you can't beat the original.
Exactly. You can't. It was different. Life was different there.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Next question. What is your favorite TV show of all time?
Favorite TV show. Oh, man. You would think I would be prepared, more prepared to answer that one. Favorite TV show from childhood or just what I'm rocking right now.
What you're rocking right now.
I'm watching
either way.
I'm watching this show called FBI. It comes on Paramount Plus. There's three versions of it. It's like FBI Most Wanted, and FBI International. It's a procedural show. It's like a law enforcement procedural show, but they have some interesting cases. They're not as dark as a SVU, so I can I can watch it without getting depressed after it's over. But I'm watching the show called FBI, and it's pretty much got me hooked right now. And Moon Knight. I just got done watching Moon Knight. That was pretty sick. I dug that one. But FBI right now.
Awesome. But the next question, do you have a favorite video game?
Oh yeah, that's easy. FIFA soccer. Day one. I've been on FIFA since, man, I'm not gonna lie, as long as I can remember. Been a big European football fan my whole life. So yeah, definitely FIFA soccer, And I'm a new Fulham FC fan because Tony Khan owns Fulham FC, so
Yeah.
I gotta support Fulham FC unless they playing Arsenal. Then I'm gonna be like, sorry, boss. It is what it is. But
Sorry.
yeah, it is what it is.
Oh, yeah. And it's such a amazing game. Like, I know Alex and I were talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember FIFA Street.
I dug FIFA Street. Like, a lot of FIFA purists don't like FIFA Street, but I dug it. I think my younger brother and I were the exception to that rule. We played both and stuff like that. But yeah, I liked FIFA Street. It was kind of like NBA Jam, but it was like soccer.
Yeah.
So I dug it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh no, for sure.
That's my jam.
Felix, so do you have a favorite band or artist?
Oh man, it's hard to like especially now in today's industry, it's hard to nail down one artist, especially after you get a certain age. You kind of you're influenced so much in your life. Like, if you ask me as a teenager, I like this band. If you ask me in my 20s, I like this band, and now in my 30s, you're asking me something else. But off the top, man, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with favorite band. Can't go wrong with. Man, I'm gonna say Maroon 5, bro. Don't judge me, bro. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
No, you're good, because
I got hands, bro. I got hands. Don't judge me. No, I'm teasing.
You're good,
bro. Maroon 5 has had some hits for me, that I jammed, but it was one of those things you didn't tell anybody in class you were listening to Maroon 5.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, yeah, Maroon 5 probably.
No, for sure. Because I think in high school too, they had that song "Payphone" that was pretty cool.
You better be ready to change your thing quick too. You're like, hey, my iPod.
Yeah.
I had it on shuffle.
Exactly.
like I had it on shuffle. Yeah, no, probably Maroon 5 for me.
Awesome. The next question: do you have a favorite meal?
Oh. Okay, so I go in Dallas. Anytime I'm in Dallas, Texas, there is this mom and pop meat market called El Ranchero. They have these fajita beef tacos, street tacos, so good. They're it's authentic Mexican food too. So it's so good. And I didn't know anything about authentic Mexican food until I went to Mexico for the first time and ate actual Mexican food. And then I came back to the States and I was like, trash.
Right.
I was like, trash. But there's this place in Dallas. It's called it's a small chain. It's a smaller chain, but it's called El Ranchero, and they have nice street tacos. That's my go-to meal anytime I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth, or in Texas in general. I'm trying to find something and get on some street tacos. So that's me. That's where I'm at with that. That's my meal, my go-to meal.
Awesome. And you can't go wrong with it, especially we're from LA and you see them all the time, all these street taco vendors.
And that's the thing, in California, I've never had the fortune of finding a good taco truck in Cali. I haven't had the fortune of doing that yet. I'm a little salty. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little salty, but I'll get a chance to do that before the year's over. I think I'll be like, hey, what do you want to do in LA or Sacramento, wherever we are? I'm like, taco truck. You want to go to the arena? Nah, I'm good. Let's find a taco truck. We'll wrestle.
Let's find a spot first.
Yeah. We got it. Come on, priorities, man. It's about priorities, right? You got to get your taco truck.
Oh no, for sure. It's true, like you said, there's so many, but it's hard to find that top one.
Yes.
It's 1 out of 20 that sticks out.
And it's hard to go by word of mouth because everybody has different taste buds. So it's somebody might be like, oh, this is the best one, and they genuinely mean that. But you're just like, oh, it's not my cup of tea, or so you never know. It's gonna just really be. I guess we have to eat all the tacos to see which one we like best. Unfortunately, unfortunately, we're gonna have to test it out. So probably that's my go-to meal.
With the next question, do you have a favorite book?
Yes, I do have a favorite book. It's from it's the an old is it expanded universe, or they call it Legends now, since Disney bought Star Wars. It's a Star Wars Old Republic. It's called the Rule of Two. It's a Rule of Two series. It's like the old series of the Sith from Star Wars. It's like how they started, and it was only two Sith, Darth Bane, and it's just basically the story of how he kind of hid the Sith from the Jedi and stuff like that. I was always fascinated by it, like when I was like in college and stuff. So like I just read it every so often. I just go, I'm gonna crack the whole series. It's a trilogy too, so I just cracked the whole series open. And my buddy Keith Lee, he's like a big Star Wars fan too. So we like do the book swap and stuff like that. And we'll have like these long travel weeks where we just talk about Star Wars and stuff. So like, yeah, it's mostly any book that's like Star Wars, but yeah, for certain, Rule of Two was my favorite series, the Darth Bane trilogy.
Awesome. I don't know for sure. Like Star Wars is like bigger than ever with like the series they're doing.
It is, and it's so cool because it's transcended the generations, you know, and it's just so many new stories that Disney can tell now, you know, whether you're a fan of it or not, because, you know, obviously at the age of the internet, there are people who don't like the new Star Wars, but it's just like, look, if you don't like it, you still got the old stuff that's super cool, and if you like the new stuff, you have more Star Wars. Like, let's just enjoy what we have, man.
Right.
Let's just enjoy what we have, man. So yeah, but probably the Darth Bane series for certain.
Awesome. But the next one, do you have a favorite sports team?
Favorite sports team, Arsenal FC, the Barclays Premier League, the Premiership in England, Arsenal, North London team.
Have you been able to go over there and watch the game?
I've performed in England, but I've never gotten to watch an Arsenal football match. I've watched a Manchester City match, but never an Arsenal match. Which, I mean, Manchester City was pretty dope, but I want to see like my boyhood club that I like play, and I'm sure I will, you know, at some point get some time to do that.
Oh, for sure. It's and the fans over there so diehard. Like I see like TV, the chants.
It is, bro. It is insane. Like, it's so funny because we think in the States, we think we have these like absurd rivalries, like these just these blood feuds, and to a degree we do, but like over there, like some of these rivalries are 100 years old.
Yes.
You know, like, you know, it's like if like me being an Arsenal supporter, if you like Tottenham, we can't be friends. Like, it's that, you know, I mean, it's that bad. It's like, I like everything else about you, but unfortunate, you know, we can't. But it's that serious in overseas, you know, in Europe. So, and I think that makes it exciting, just the devotion to their club. You know, I think in the States we see it all the time, right? We see, you know, everybody likes the popular team, the team that's winning. You know, every year there, you know, everybody was like a Lakers fan, then they were a Cavs fan, then they were the Warriors fan. And it's just like, you know, but in, like you said, the fans are very passionate overseas. So yeah, I haven't been able to do that, but I want to.
Awesome. But the next question, do you have a ritual you like to do before every match?
A ritual before every match. What do I do? Normally I'm genuinely, I'm usually pretty locked in. I don't have a set thing that I do. I'm kind of very like still. I kind of try to still myself. So you know, for example, you know, last month when I debuted, I was on Dark. I just sitting in Guerrero with my headphones on, just chilling. I wasn't like listening to music to hype myself up or nothing. I was just stealing myself, just be still in the moment, and, you know, go out there and perform. I've always been one of those kind of people that kind of likes to still myself. So I don't have a ritual per se that like hypes me up or like locks me in and like makes me focus. I just kind of try to just sit still, let everything die down so I can focus on the objective, which is perform and produce and win a match, you know. So
it's calm and collective and get your thoughts together.
Oh, that cool breeze all day and tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's me.
Sure.
Cool breeze all day and tomorrow.
Nice. Oh, the next question. If you have a dinner party and you could invite 5 guests to this party, who would it be?
Okay. Dinner party, I can invite 5 guests. Of all time or people that
Yeah, you can be all time, dead or alive.
Of all time? Oh, okay. First one, Alexander the Great. I've always been fascinated with Alexander the Great, a man who was able to conquer, you know, so much, yet be humbled in his last moments. Like to have everything and then lose everything. He's experienced life to its fullest. To have everything and have nothing in the same lifespan. That's a rare occurrence. And I would want to pick his brain about like, man, like that must be as close as you can live to a complete life, you know, to be the king of the mountain and be the janitor. You know what I mean? Like it has to be right, like who can say that they've gone through like every range of existence, you know, and maybe not that's an exaggeration, but just in a sense of like he conquered damn near everything, but he died with empty hands, as we all do, you know. It's a humbling thought, like no matter how high you climb, to the dust we return, you know. It's very morbid, but it's morbid, but it's the most honest thing, right? And it makes you appreciate everything. Like this stuff is so fleeting, like your life, your family, your career, the things you enjoy, even the things you don't like, appreciate them, you know. Yeah, like all of it, you know. At least that's my mentality. So Alexander the Great. Let's see who else. Eddie Guerrero. I'm gonna be honest. Eddie Guerrero has had such an impact on me as a performer, but an impact on me as a child and as a man. It's one of those things. Eddie like really gave himself to wrestling in ways that I don't think anyone will ever truly understand, like how much he cared so much for the craft that you kind of almost became a better wrestler by proxy just by being in the ring with them. You know what I mean? And we say that about a lot of greats, right? Like we say that about Taker and Sean or, you know, or Daniel Bryan or whoever. Right. But I just feel like Eddie like could make you feel whatever he wanted you to feel when he wanted you to feel it. End of discussion. You could be booing him, like, I mean, ready to Old Testament, like stone him to death. And he could give you like a little smirk, like he was about to do something. And you'd go, all right, that's our guy. That's Eddie.
Yeah.
Like, he's a cheat, you know, he's a cheat, but he's our cheat. He's, you know, he's our guy, you know. So like for somebody to be that ridiculed and beloved, you know, you go, oh, that's pretty cool. And I would want to pick his brain because he saw the highs and lows of wrestling, you know. I'm very big on chronicling the good and bad of everything, right? So Eddie, so who did I say? Eddie, Alexander the Great, Anderson Silva, another person who's inspired me because Anderson Silva was someone who was at the top of his game, right? One of the greatest counter punchers of all time, counter strikers of all time, one of the greatest submission artists of all time, undefeated for the longest. But he was a very mild-mannered, quiet guy, you know, very even keel and stuff, confident in himself, but he didn't have to walk around boasting and stuff like that. And my dad admired Anderson Silva, which made me admire him just because, you know, I wanted to live up to those standards. So it was one of those things. I was never much of a bragger, growing up because Anderson Silva didn't brag. He'd go, he'd win, and he'd go on about his day because he'd been there before. Like act like he won matches before,
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I've taken that. And again, you guys, you and your brother said you watch some of my stuff. You can tell like I keep it pretty in the center at all times. You got to really do something to rile me up. You know what I mean? I like to stay focused, but Anderson Silva is definitely someone who was an influence on that. Who else? I'm trying to think of some other good ones. Who else? Betty White. Oh. Betty White. Love me some Betty White, man. It's so like out there, like you like Betty White. But she was like a beautiful soul, and she was fun. And again, the Betty White that we know, right, is on the back end of her lifespan because she had been around. She was 100, so she had been around for a long time. I learned more about Betty White after she had passed. I looked at her old work, pre-Golden Girls, because that's what she's known from, is like Golden Girls and stuff. But she was just funny, just a beautiful soul, and again, lived a century. Think about the things that she's seen in life. Think about the things that you can learn from just sitting down at a dinner table and just asking questions, bro. So Betty White, and then last one. Let's see. Man, you can't go wrong with. I don't want to oversaturate it with wrestlers, but I gotta go with like Shawn Michaels too. Again, another guy who's at the top of his game, but performed at a high level the entirety of it, no matter what was going on. But he battled some demons and stuff. Like again, I don't know if you're sensing the theme. I like to surround myself with people who have experiences that I can learn from. And that's just been a big part of my journey these past few months with everything going on in wrestling and stuff for me as well. It's just being able to be around the best performers in the world and pick their brains and learn, and then go, oh, by the way, I'm one of the best performers in the world too. So lace up, let's get it, So yeah, that's my 5.
That's awesome. It's such a different mix from like Betty White and Anderson Silva and Alexander Great, but like you said, they all have that similar story of either humble beginnings and making to the top. They're all icons and legends, which is just.
But they understood their place in life, that it doesn't matter, man. Like you can be the king of the mountain one day, and then you can be homeless the next, bro. And it's so real. It's so real, and it helps you appreciate things. And that's just the journey I'm on. Is trying to be educated, be knowledgeable, be wise, and be humble. At least try to be. So.
No, it's always, like you said, they're humble, and usually, a lot of people go through his life and they kind of just go away from it, and but they stride it on. They use all that negativity, all that stuff that humble them.
It's armor. Adversity is armor, bro. It really is, and people don't understand that adversity is definitely armor. And if you learn to wear it correctly, you can be bulletproof. You really can. And I think once people embrace that, life gets easier the harder it gets. If that makes sense. It's really weird.
Right. But, for people listening, you're channeling all that to, use, like you said, you're using that as a positive outlet. Like, okay, I went through all this and I'm going to make something out of it and go through it.
Yeah.
Be on the top
and you
of the
have
mountain.
Something. Yeah. And it can be done. You know that it's not over until it's over. Just keep going. If you're winning, stay on top of it and stay where you are, because the table can turn. And if you're losing, keep pressing, keep going, because the tables can turn, So that's just my take on it,
No, it's awesome. I love the Anderson Silva reference too, because he was at top of the mountain UFC, and then he gets cut. Now he's boxing. He just beat Chavez Jr., who's a former world champion. In his later age, he's still on top.
Because he just loves the art of combat. He just loves the art, and so, and I think you see it in wrestlers too, right? You see those guys like a Ric Flair who you know, he has to be hurting every day. You think about what he gave to the
yeah.
business. A guy like that has to hurt getting out of bed, you know. When I see a lot of my like I want to see my trainer, Killer Tim Brooks, and my other trainer, Skandar Akbar, when they would like try to get up out of a chair after wrestling 40 years, like they couldn't stand up straight, you know. You think like you have to love it to just so Anderson Silva still trying to find ways to be in the combat community tells us that he loves martial arts and he can't quit it. He can't quit it. Like
right.
It's
He doesn't need the money. He just loves it.
No, and that's the thing. You got to think. A lot of us who are martial artists, we've been martial artists since we were children. We don't know how to do anything else.
Right.
Even if I'm not fighting, it's like your martial arts is in how you treat people. It's in how you walk. It's in how you talk. Like martial arts is so much more than punches, kicks, and grappling. You know, it's who you are, bro. You know, so you know.
Exactly.
But
nice. I love it. With the last question out of our fun questions, if you could have a match with someone who isn't a wrestler, it could be a fictional character, an athlete,
okay,
anybody who isn't a wrestler.
A match with someone who isn't a wrestler, who would it be with? Well, I would want to book a match that I have a chance of winning. So I'm not going to say somebody like Thanos or something.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to be somebody I can push myself, but I could probably, let's see. That's such a good question. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh,
Here's
nice.
why. Here's why. Because he's a world-class athlete.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Right? He's not a combat sports athlete, but he's so gifted that I think that he would learn wrestling as he was wrestling. And that he would be able to adjust and pose a threat at some point that would make me have to better myself, which in turn would make me want to press one of the best athletes to ever live. You know, I think he doesn't get that credit for being probably one of the best athletes to ever grace Earth, bro. Like, you know, because you know soccer's not popular in America, but you know, but anybody that knows anything about football is like, you know, like, yo, he's the GOAT, you know, or up there. But anyway, yeah, so probably Ronaldo.
That's awesome. And how do you see that match ending?
I'm probably gonna kick him in the head, knee him in the face, and call it a day. Give me my check.
Nice.
No, I don't know how to answer that. I think it'll be educational for him. You can still be the best athlete in the world, and I fold you, bro. Like, you know, fold your clothes while you're still wearing them. But you know, that's And then I can say I beat up Ronaldo, and like, you know, who hasn't wanted to beat up Ronaldo if you played against him? You know, I'm doing it for Messi. You know what I mean? Do it for Messi. No, I'm kidding. I'm teasing. But yeah, probably Ronaldo.
Nice. And like you said, he doesn't get like the credit it deserves, like especially here in the States.
He doesn't. But that's all. I think that's all sports, right? I think.
Yeah.
I think that's life. I think none of us get the credit we truly deserve in life, you know. But in the same token, I don't think all of us get the blame for all of the things we get wrong either. So if you're gonna wear the hat, wear it. You know what I mean? So
right. Very true. Nice. I want to say, you know, thank you for being on the show so far. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get into the interview, but for sure, thank you. With the first question I want to ask you, how did you get into? How do you get introduced into professional wrestling?
I don't have a distinct memory of when it started per se. I will say that I do have a general memory of like when it clicked and I was like, this is awesome. Like, I want to do that. I was watching, I I don't even, it wasn't even a match. It was a promo. It was Rick the Model Martel. And he had this cologne called Arrogance. And he would like spray, and like everybody hated it but him.
Yeah.
And he just like, and he was just like so ridiculous. And he never won matches. And I didn't care. I was like, this guy is the best. Like, I was like, he's good. Like, this guy's good. Like, no, but he would like, I don't know. It just Rick the Model Martel and his arrogance. Like, it hooked me. And then after that, I started watching more faithfully. And then I was introduced to like WCW, and I watched like the Cruiserweights, the Malenkos, the Benoits, the Mysterios, the Juventud, the Ultimo Dragon, Ultimo Guerrero, Chavo. Like, and then, being able to perform with these guys in Mexico was crazy too. Like, I can't remember like the one thing that like hooked me. I just remember it almost feels like I was always watching wrestling and I was always hooked, even though that can't be true. As far as I can retain conscious memory, I've been hooked. I've been hooked. Not like I would do it one day, not like I would be a wrestler one day, but like I would be hooked. It didn't dawn on me that I could be a wrestler until like guys like Ken Shamrock or like like Steve Blackman and those guys, which they weren't the most like quote unquote entertaining wrestlers, but those are the guys that I related to. Or a guy like a Taz. Like Taz was like my favorite. Like Taz would just come and just choke you out, and you were just like, yo, this dude is like, he didn't say anything. He come in with his towel over his head, and everybody was just scared of him. He just fucking choke you out, and you were like, yo, like it was I was hooked, bro. I've been hooked. I've been hooked the entire time. It's crazy. I can't stop smiling. Like I look like I look like an idiot right now. I can't stop smiling. I love wrestling. I've always loved it, man. I've always loved it.
Oh, and once you mentioned too, like Martel, like he's such like a great body of work he's done. And I feel like he's kind of unappreciated.
Absolutely.
But like his promos and his matches, like he's such a great worker too.
Good, just so good. And like I think the closest thing I think we have to that, to where somebody who was just under your skin like that, is like The Miz. Like The Miz is one of those throwbacks to those guys where you just like, I don't know, I think this guy might really be an ass in real life. Or like a MJF, which that guy has a punchable face. Like, I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, I'm just like, I just got here, but I want to punch that guy.
I'm ready to,
But it's hard too, because he's so good. You go, well, he is good. I wish he wasn't an ass. He is good. Like, but
I can appreciate you, but you're still a jerk.
Yeah, it's just like, dude. Yeah, it's like, relax. But no, I mean, if people don't want to hear his mouth like that, somebody needs to shut him up, and we haven't been able to do that just yet. So here we are. We still got to hear MJF's mouth.
Oh yeah. And also, like you said, did you, like, as a kid growing up, were you into like the video games and like the action figures?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, side?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had the little the Wrestle Buddies. I had the little toy rings with the action figures and things of that nature. We played the SmackDown 2, Know Your Role, SmackDown 3, Shut Your Mouth. You know what I mean? We played all of those.
All those.
And it's just one of those things where it's a part of like my childhood. It's like fundamentally a part of who I am, to the point of, people talk about like on social media, it's like, why do you have some of these pictures up? And I'm like, when I wrestle and I tag with Sean Waltman, X-Pac, and I win tag titles with X-Pac, and he lets me say the DX tagline, I got 2 words. I am a child in that moment. Like, do you understand that? Like, I am, I don't think people understand that, or getting DDT by like Jake the Snake. I'm like, bruh, do you understand that I am fighting the urge to giggle like a little child, right? Like, I'm struggling with, or Sacco from Mankind, you know, or a famouser from Billy Gunn. Like these are things, you know, and it was funny, like I worked with competed with Billy Gunn, and I just remember like being so excited, but like halfway through the match, it's so crazy because you know he's a middle-aged gentleman, but he still moves like he's in his 20s. So I remember like halfway through the match getting like ticked off, like, yo, he should be tired by now. Like, and so I still, you know, it's a little gamesmanship. I started giving him jabs. I'm like, you know, you gotta keep up, old man, you know, and you know, he's not like old or whatever, but like but he was just like, oh, you son of a bitch. And he like ran me ragged, bro, the rest of that match. It was brutal. It was a dream come true, but it was brutal. It was brutal. And then he hit me with a famouser, hit Keith with a famouser. We got to the back and I was like, that was awesome. And Keith's like, I need you to stop talking trash to our opponents, please. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So that was the last time I talked trash to one of the OGs. I learned my lesson.
Stop pissing him off. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But again, like, yeah, playing those games, it was like, bro, I watched these people on TV. I played, you know, the game with these people, and now, you know, they're colleagues. You know, some people I've grown to consider friends, and so it kind of makes you sit down and go like, yo, what is life? You know, like this is
it's surreal.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. And then to you know, the further you go in your career, to see that there are people that see you that way, and you're like that's, you know, it's like it's kind of crazy and hard to grasp, you know. And again, I have such a long way to go, but it's just one of those things, like you just clock in and do the work, man, you know. And I'm enjoying that process right now.
It's like those, like you're going, you know, obviously you're going to big places, you're going to AEW, but along the way you're getting like these gifts, like, you know, going with Billy Gunn wrestling, you know, Sean Waltman and all this. Like, it's awesome.
It's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing. Like, and you can't put it into words. It's so hard to articulate without just grinning and going, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Like, this is all you can do.
Right?
I'm having the time of my life. That's all I can say.
It's awesome. That's so cool. And like, I feel like you said, like, you love this business, you know, you're into it as a kid, and then sometimes people don't understand it. You're like, no, this is like the greatest thing ever.
If I had a time machine and I went back and told myself as a child that I would become the people that I looked up to, that's just, none of us think that, you know, as kids, right? Like, none of us think that way. But it's proof that it's very possible if you just go out there and just nose to the grindstone and go get it, you know. And so, you know,
he's like, what's the worst that can happen? You're going for your dreams, you're going for your goals. Better do not have that regretting, you know, moment later on.
I gotta know. I'm just one of those people. I gotta know. I need the answer.
Exactly.
That's just how I'm built. But all right, we're in agreement on that for sure.
For sure. Yeah. Because I can for sure relate to that, because like this podcast has gotten us like these opportunities to meet guys like you and so many other wrestling superstars. And one that Alex just blew me out of the way. We got Ken Shamrock not too long ago on the podcast.
What?
And and
dude's one of my heroes, man. That's so dope.
Like, and that's like, I'm smiling right now. And I'm like reliving that moment and talking to him and telling him, I love your knee bars. Like, I saw your mattresses chemo when I was a kid.
Good. So good, man.
And Alex like, shut up, like, don't, like, no, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm fanning out, but like, you're
right. Yeah, it's so difficult. It's difficult, man. And why can't we not appreciate these legends? Like, give them their flowers. What's wrong with that?
Exactly.
Like, come on. But yes, Ken Shamrock, that's freaking cool.
That's so those moments are just like, you appreciate it. Like, this will ever stick to me for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. And it should. That's, again, it's an accomplishment that when you probably set out to do it, you didn't think in your wildest dreams that you'd be having a face-to-face with Ken Shamrock, but you did it. So boom.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I want to talk about that too, where you said that you tagged with Sean Waltman. Like,
Yeah,
that must have been like just awesome. Like, how was that experience?
it was so like crazy because like you catch yourself being a fan unintentionally, where we're talking strategy, going over the match, and he's like, so what do you want to do when we get out there? And I'm literally like, whatever you want to do. I know all of your moves, so if you want to, I can set up a Bronco Buster for you on this guy. I can say, like, I can hit this guy with this, and you can hit the X Factor, and if you want, I'll do. He's just like, yeah, I like all that. What do you want to do?
Cool.
And I'm like, whatever you want to. Like, I was just like, just giving way, hey, whatever you want to do, your world, But him being gracious, and being like, no, I want you to enjoy this experience. And I'm like, oh, dude, I already am. Like, I'm like, you can't ruin this, like, this is so great. He was super easy to work with. Obviously talented, legendary, of course, right? Still agile, still, and it's weird because I want to say that was like 2017 or 18. Like, he's in better shape now.
Yeah.
Like, I saw him at GCW and I was like, yo, what, bro? Like, you just gonna walk around ripped like that? Cool. All right. But yeah, that was a great experience, Sean Waltman. And then winning, and then when we won the tag titles at this place called MPX, and we won, and he's cutting the promo, and he's like, if you're not down with that, and he stops and he looks at me and he smiles, and then like I'm just like, oh, this is not a drill, people. This is real. We are live. And he like smirks and hands me the mic, and I do we got 2 words for you, fans say suck it. And like, I'm just cheesing, and I'm like playing it back in my head right now. Yeah, I'm playing it back and like grinning, but it was a pretty cool experience for sure.
That's so cool. It's like your inner child's coming out.
Oh yeah, like, for sure.
Like, is this real?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. I want to talk more about that, but I want to go back a little bit about like your martial arts and your Muay Thai. Like, how did that start, and how did you get into that?
My dad was heavy into martial arts, and Muay Thai was one of his like favorite martial arts, and it was one of those things I just kind of watched at first as a little kid, and then you kind of mimic. You know how it is, you kind of mimic your older siblings or your parents or uncles or aunts or whoever. And then my siblings and I, we started learning Muay Thai, and then we started learning. He always wanted us to do like a striking art and a grappling art at the same time. So you'd be like in Taekwondo, but you'd be like in Judo, or if you were doing boxing, you'd be doing wrestling, or you were doing Muay Thai, you'd be doing Jiu-Jitsu. So we were always trying to stay balanced at all times. And so but Muay Thai was the first thing that I saw, and then like I played Street Fighter as a kid, and like Sagat was like my favorite character. So like and I think when you watch my performances, there are shades of Sagat and an Anderson Silva. That's one of the big compliments I've gotten, is people like, oh man, you like the Anderson Silva, like pro wrestling. I'm like, I can't smile any harder, knock it off.
Yeah,
right?
that's a huge compliment. Like,
I'm like, I can't smile any harder. But I'm trying to I think Muay Thai was like the first thing that I fell in love with, just because it was something I did with my father. But I remember being like, it's very taxing on the body, even as a child. So like I like my shins are stone, but I don't remember bamboo rolling my shins. I know we did it, but I don't remember. So there's a lot of like grueling memories of my Muay Thai as a child that I don't remember, because You know, I was so young. But it kind of martial arts just kind of shapes you. And so once you're baptized in it, you get comfortable in it, and then you kind of don't want to be anywhere else. And you just learn strength, discipline, restraint, and that serves you in life outside of, you know, combat sports. And so when it serves you in life, you go, oh, this works. This serves me in every aspect of life. I'm just going to learn more. And it's just positive reinforcement over and over and over again. And, you know, and then here I am.
Sure.
You know?
No, for sure. Like you said, like it kind of builds you as a person, and you know, it teaches you a lot outside of, you know, martial arts about respect and being humble.
Yep.
In learning that, was there a moment like, okay, I'm gonna pursue, you know, professional career in Muay Thai, or I'm gonna go wrestling? Was there ever that moment like, okay, where am I gonna
go? I never really felt like I needed to choose. It just depended on just where we were stationed as a family at the time, or it just depended on whatever we were doing. Like I competed in Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. I've done 3 amateur MMA fights, and then you know, pro wrestling is just one of those things where I can be an athlete and then be a performer too, you know. It's just something about I just remember my coach. It's like one of his famous stories. He's always tells the story about when he told me I should pursue wrestling full time. It was more of a you don't look like you like bouncing a guy's head off the canvas. And I'm like, I really don't. Like, I was like, I don't like it at all, actually. And he's kind of like, it's, you know, he's like, well, look, if they had you compromised, guess what they would be doing? And I was like, bouncing my head off the canvas. He's like, yes, bouncing your head off the canvas. That's exactly. You know, I'm just the type of guy, like, if I got you, I got you. You know, if I hit a guy with a flush head kick and he goes down, he's done. You know, like there's no part of me that's comfortable with mounting a guy and just beating him into oblivion. That's head trauma. That's not skill. You know. You know. But I mean, you've seen UFC. That's kind of what it's turned into. So, you know.
Exactly.
It's not my thing, but as long as there's people who like it and they'll pay money for it, then, you know. But when I came into wrestling, I did not want to shy away from my martial arts background. When I started, I did shy away from it a little bit. I tried to be the traditional wrestler, and I just felt unnatural. Just different influences of just different guys, like a Al Snow being like, if you're not true to you, nobody's gonna believe it. Or Regal being like, you have to be comfortable before you can be excellent. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, you know. I started out trying to be the traditional wrestler, but once I got just being like, why not use all my tools, right? Like, I don't know why I did that. That wasn't the wisest choice, but once I started using all of the tools available to me, wrestling became easy as pie, man. It really did. It really, really did. That sounded kind of arrogant, like it's easy. I don't mean it like that. It makes more sense to me. It's like I'm never a fish out of water, because I was almost bathed in every martial arts. Not every martial art, but like quite a few of them. So I should be okay in most combat scenarios. I should be fine. You know?
And it's cool. Like, I love how you said your father put you in, you know, grappling and, you know, learning the ground game, also standing, which is pretty cool. And you don't see that much. I feel they just want to learn one art and just stick with it. And everyone's like, oh, well, jiu-jitsu beats wrestling and, you know, boxing beats kickboxing. But it's good to learn everything.
I've always been amused by that, because in wrestling, I'm known for my submission grappling. Like, I'm known as a grappler. But as a kid, I hated grappling. I liked striking, right? But my dad was like, that's what he made me focus on, because he's like, well, that's where you're deficient. That's where you need to focus. And so it's funny to be known for my grappling, but I've always been a better striker. That's I've always found that amusing, where it's like I'm known for grappling, but I'm a way better striker than I am a grappler. Asks Tony Neese.
Right.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing. But yeah. I just being in martial arts for so long, it kind of made the transition to wrestling very easy.
Oh yeah.
Almost
and I
seamless.
love. What was that again? Sorry.
I said almost seamless.
Yes. Oh no, for sure. Like you said, you're embracing your roots and you're putting it in the mat and wrestling. And a lot of people say in wrestling is pretty much be yourself, and you just turn the volume knob to like 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it shows. Yeah.
It's really the easiest answer. It really, really is. It really, really is. And I think that's so encouraging though, to tell people like, oh, bitch, just be yourself. Who's a better you than you? You're the only person that can audition for that part. You get it. You get the part by existing. You win. Be you, bro. You know, so
exactly.
And that's just what I've tried to do. And it's worked out for me. So
oh no, for sure.
You know?
And that's the thing Alex and I were talking, especially Alex is like, I love he has the gloves, you know, he's bare feet, he has the trunks. And then we started looking at your background.
That's another thing people ask me. They're like, oh, that doesn't bother you? And I always say like, no, for like the first 2-3 years of my career, I was in wrestling boots. I moved to shooter shoes for like a year or two, but it always felt wrong to have shoes on the mat. It has always felt wrong.
Yeah.
It has always felt wrong, you know? But again, it's a different sport, but I've always tried to stay, again, authentic to myself. And, you know, I just wrestle how I fought, you know, so.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm glad there are people that appreciate it though. It's cool to see people that appreciate it.
No, we love it because like Alex and I come from like an amateur wrestling background, and we're so used to the shoes, and then we did karate and some point fighting, and now we go, you know, barefoot, and now we see people with shoes. Like, how can you do that? Like, I feel way better with no shoes and just bouncing.
Yes. And I it's hard to explain that to people who are uninitiated. Like, it's so much better. Like, you feel like a connection with the ground almost. It sounds bizarre, but it's really true.
Yeah, you feel like in one, just like it's just a natural feeling. You get used to it pretty quickly. I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Going from your Muay Thai background doing martial arts and then transitioning to wrestling, how was like your first day of wrestling school? Like, how was that like transition and that whole experience?
It was weird. It was the best experience and the worst experience. There were some things. I didn't have a middle ground. There was no balance for me. There were certain things that I got instantly. And then there were things that if you put a gun to my head, I was a dead man because I just couldn't get it. Like, it was no, like, he's okay at this. It's like, he's the best to ever do this, or we need to tell him he needs to go home. Like, it was, you know. So, but luckily, again, I came through with a really, really talented, brilliant class of wrestlers. And so we had a very much a pack mentality, a wolf pack mentality, where one of us was deficient, another one could step in, no problem, and make things happen. And I want to credit Athena. You guys know her as Ember Moon. She was somebody who was there from day one, who, if I struggled, she would help me after class. And she was a gymnast and a soccer player herself. And so we kind of had, we kind of gravitated towards one another. And another one is obviously like my childhood friend Keith Lee, which is, he's one of the best performers in the world right now. I'll never say that to his face. But no, I'm teasing. But yeah, he's one of the pound for pound, probably the most gifted performer of our generation. Pound for pound, like there's nobody his size doing what he's doing. No. There's very few people doing what he's doing, period. and and like again, like if I'm being honest, he's coasting. He's capable of so much more. If I'm being honest with you guys, take it from somebody who's in the lab with him, in the trenches with him, day in and day out. He's jogging, guys.
Yeah.
You know, like he's not even that's not even his final form, as he would say for his Dragon Ball reference. It's not even his final form. But yeah, I will credit. It was very difficult at first, but I want to credit my teammates who helped me make that transition. And by the time I was like on shows, people just thought I was just the most naturally gifted, and it was like that is not what happened. You know, it's like that's not what happened. I had a great team around me, and great coaching and great teammates, and when you have that, obviously, you kind of got to be trying to fail when you got all those ingredients, you know. So luckily, I didn't mess that up too badly.
Yeah, for like you said, like you have like all the ingredients for success. So like, how can you like you have to make it? You have
it's almost it has to be an expectation, you know.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing, and then just like coming up with just meeting the best wrestlers in my travels, like a guy like a Shane Taylor, who is just a brutal one-punch striker, like he's a finisher, right? Or a guy like a John Gresham, who is the best pure grappler. You know, I want to see John Gresham versus Daniel Bryan so bad, or Bryan Danielson so badly. Like it's not even it's not even funny, you know. Being able to a guy like a TJP or a Rich Swann, these guys who are just leaps and bounds, you know, and just being in the ring with them and on a day-to-day basis and just getting better. A guy like a Matthew Palmer, who's another guy who's he's a guy who doesn't get the credit he deserves just yet, but you'll see a lot of him sooner than later. A guy like a Sami Callihan, who's a brilliant mind, you know what I mean? He's a brilliant mind. A guy like a Swerve Strickland, who's just talented, and my like one. I call, sorry. No, but Shayna Baszler, who, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I will never admit it out loud to her, but Shayna Baszler is the most dangerous woman on the planet. It's not even funny. Like, you know, people like Rousey. I'm like, yeah, Rousey's the clean pick. She's the sexy pick, right? Shayna will get it out the trenches. Like Shayna will do it with blood on her face. You know what I mean? Like, again, I will never admit it out loud because she'd be making fun of me. No, that's the homie. But like I had the luxury of just rubbing elbows and being around some of the best performers. Like, I don't know how I could F this up, you know? Yeah. It's you know, I can't mess it up. These, you know, a Ricky Starks. You know what I'm saying? Like these are you know what I'm saying? Like Sammy Guevara, Fuego, like these are people on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be trash if you are, you know, you can't train and perform with these people and be trash. Like you can't, you know. So I've had good fortune. I'll say that.
No, it's all those names, especially when you mentioned like Gresham versus Daniel Bryan, that would be an amazing match. Like
and Tony Khan is such a fan of wrestling. Like, you know, that match is coming. Yeah. Like he's such a big passionate fan of wrestling. I think he wants to see that match more than any fan ever will.
Oh yeah, it has to happen.
Because the boss is the biggest wrestling fan on the fucking planet. Excuse my language, on the planet.
No, you're good.
Like, that's the coolest thing, man. You know, a guy like Samoa Joe, like, you don't think TK's got some crazy, you know what I'm saying? You don't think we got some crazy matchups? Like, bro, come on.
All those things you're saying, I'm thinking like we're just like in a great moment of wrestling, like to witness these
I
guys
say
in their
that
prime.
I say that with every interview I do, because it always goes like it, every interview always turns into AEW versus WWE, and I'm just like, why can't we just enjoy the era of wrestling we're in?
Exactly.
Like, I can like Adam Cole, I can like MJF, and I can like Roman Reigns too. Like, you know what I mean? I can like Keith Lee, and I can like Damon Priest. I can like Matt Riddle, and I can like JD Griffey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can like Ricky Starks and like The Miz. You know, it's like it doesn't have to. But wrestling is tribal, in nature. But it's just like it gets a little heavy-handed. But
too much,
That's wrestling. Yeah, that's wrestling. But I think my sentiment is just appreciate the era of wrestling we're in and enjoy it, because we don't know how long we will get to see a lot of these talented, brilliant individuals at the top of their game. You know?
No, it's true. It's very true. And that's what, like you said, like we have friends that are like, oh, I'm strictly just WWE or strictly Raw and SmackDown. I'm like, don't you want to see MJF jump over? Like, why are we like, picking teams? Like, I want to see like cross promotion. I want to see the best
love wrestling.
World compete.
I just love wrestling. Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
Wow.
To me.
And the name, and then the names you mentioned, like, it must be awesome just sitting around those guys and just picking their brains, and like, those guys have lived so much, in this wrestling world, and have so many miles on them. Like,
and just being able to learn from each other. Like, we have a group of people who we enjoy learning from one another as well.
Yeah.
There's no egos. There's none of that. It's just at least in the people that I named. Like a guy like Ricky Starks, he knows he's the best promo. Like that guy knows nobody can touch him on the mic. But at the end of the day, he's in there, and he's the hardest worker in the room.
Oh yeah.
A guy like Ricky Starks could coast and still be at the top of his game, but he's one of the hardest workers in the room. A guy like Swerve, hardest worker in the room. Jade Cargill, she ruffles people's feathers, right? But think about what she's been able to do in the short time she's been here. She's in God mode, bro. Like
exactly.
Like, it is what it is, bro. Like, you can feel how you want to feel about it, good or bad. But we gotta, for a lack of a better term, like, acknowledge what's happening. It's a guy like I could, but that's what I'm saying. I could gush over all the good wrestlers all day, right? I could name people who aren't signed talent all day. Like, it's just really, what do you like in wrestling? Because everybody's so good. There's something for you. There's something for you.
Oh yeah.
So
no, for sure. It's like pretty much like wrestling. Like, it's for everyone. Either so many different styles and so many competitors. It's like ice cream. There's so many flavors. Like,
we all like ice cream.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's like, it's just like, just because I don't like strawberry ice cream doesn't mean I don't like ice cream. I like ice cream just fine. Just don't like strawberry ice cream, and that's okay. Like, and that's okay.
You're fine.
But yeah, for certain.
Oh, for sure. Couple more questions left. Thanks again, for being on the show. It's been awesome.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, for sure.
And I wanted to ask you, how was that debut, when you first got into the wrestling ring and went out there for the first time?
My first match, period, or
first match.
I'm gonna be honest, like, that match is the reason that I like to still myself before my matches now, is because I don't remember much about my first match. I remember how I felt, but I don't remember the match at all. I know I was excited, and I was nervous, and I was glad it was over. And apparently I did really, really well, because I was on national TV the very next day. So my second match was a televised match. So I was like, oh, okay. I think I'm going to be okay.
Yeah,
again,
do something right.
but again, it was one of those things. At that time, all of us who were fresh off of out of the academy, we didn't know how good we had it because we were around the best wrestlers at that time. It was like, so we couldn't mess these matches up. So we were out here thinking we were just the sweet cream in an ice cream sandwich, and it was like, oh, we were okay, but we were around such talented individuals that they made us look like we were just one of a kind talent, you know.
Yeah.
And so the thing is learning to become one of a kind talent while those gracious enough to those who came before us are gracious enough to make us look like we're those performers. It's our responsibility to actually become them. So
exactly. And you know, from there, you know, one of the things I want to talk about too, you had an opportunity to wrestle CMLL. How was that? Like, how did that opportunity come about, and how was it wrestling in Mexico?
Changed my life.
What was the difference?
It changed my life. There's nothing like it. They are the best athletes on the planet. The way that we trained 4 days a week, 2 a days. 2 a days, excuse me. We trained 4 days a week. 3 of those days were 2 a days. And everybody trains. There's no superstars. Everybody trains. Again, you know, a lot of the luchadors, they're masked. They keep their faces covered as to protect their identities. Because they are like, the culture is different. It's like, like for real, like it's so insane. And like, I won't say the wrestler's name, but one of the performers, he sold, he was a vendor. He sold crepes with his family, and he would sell crepes with his family. He's a pretty high performer in CMLL, and he would sell crepes until about 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, excuse me, and then he'd go into the arena, main event the show, and then come back out there and sell crepes till midnight, and then be at the front of the line ready to drill at 9 a.m. the next day. And I was like, that would be like Roman Reigns like selling t-shirts in front of the American Airlines Center.
Yeah.
Like, you would never see that. And there's no knock. It's just like they hustle differently.
Yeah.
The humility is different. It's like they don't care how big of a star they are. They train and they face it, and because that's what got them to the dance. And that's what I learned from Mexico more than anything, other than elevation can kill you. But when I got off the plane, I thought that was it. I was like, oh, this is it. This is how it ends for me. This is how I go. But it was weird because the first day we got shuttled from the airport to the hotel. They were like, get into some workout clothes, and we were like, oh cool, we're just gonna do like a little photo op, right? You know, for social media. Yeah. And it was like, no, we ran the steps for like 2 hours. As soon as we got there, like I what? And then it was like, and they took us out to dinner, but we were all exhausted. So they took us out to dinner. We ate and we went to sleep. But we had to be training 9 a.m. the next morning. Wow. That was it was crazy. It was crazy. And then my first match in Mexico was at the Arena Mexico. There are people who spend their whole careers in Mexico and never wrestle there. And so it was a crazy opportunity and a privilege to my first match on Mexican soil was in the arena, the historic Arena Mexico, bro. What?
That's crazy.
Yeah. But the weird thing is, like I was alluding to earlier, saying like to appreciate the time that we're in. That was one of the biggest opportunities and best times of my life. And I was so chill about it, like, yeah, you know, cool. I didn't understand the opportunity that I was getting until I was on the plane on the way home. You know,
it hit you later, like what just happened.
Yeah, because it was one of those things. We were there for 3 weeks, and when we were leaving, like when we first got there, it was pretty brutal. Like it was rough, you know. But by the time we left, like they kind of treated us like family because like family is the culture in Mexico. Family is it damn near might as well be all there is. It's like family isn't everything. It's the only thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like
pretty much, yes.
You know, and so to earn the respect and to be brought in as family, and then you know they're tearing up as we're getting on the plane to leave, and it's like, well, first of all, y'all kicked our asses when we first got here. Now you're crying and don't want us to leave. But again, it's these bonds that are forged through strife, right? And that was something that Mexico taught me, is like, keep swimming. You know, like if you keep swimming, you got to find shore. And so I just took that with me. It made me train differently when I got back to the States. It made me view wrestling differently. And it made me have respect for the culture of, just respect of luchador culture, like lucha libre. And just, I could talk about that all day, you know, because it really did change. Like CMLL changed my life, like seriously.
That's really awesome to hear. That's like you saying, like, this man has, like, you know, his family 9 to 5 working, selling crepes, and he goes up there with no ego, and just trains with you guys and wrestles just like equals.
After main eventing, and then going back out and selling crepes again, and then first in line, leading the warm-ups the next day. That's unheard
incredible.
of. It's unheard of. And it just, I was just like, I got on the plane going home, like, I need to get myself together, because the least of them, they all had that mentality.
Yeah.
You can't tell. That's what I took away from that I really admired, and I wish we have in the States, is like their top guy, their mid-card guy, and their new trainee students. If you had a conversation with all of them, you wouldn't be able to tell who was who. They're all just chilling. They're all nice.
Wow.
They're all just respectful. They're all, you know, I don't know. We could use more of that, but
it's
that
sort
don't
of
sell
like,
tickets.
you know,
That don't sell tickets in the States. So like,
right.
you know, but
it's so different. Like, I want to ask you too, like, how is it different with the crowd reaction? And like we were talking about the culture, like from the States to
Mexico. They hated my guts.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, because you know the luchador style, the lucha libre style is very flashy, high flying, and innovative. And I mean, you've seen me perform. I'm pretty cut and dry, man. I'm choke you out and knock you out, you know. So you can do all of those flips, and if I get my hands on you, it's a wrap. And so and I didn't know that trying to remove masks were frowned upon, and I was doing it like every night. And so I was being escorted back to the shuttle and stuff, because we were unmasked. Like, so I would be walking through the city and stuff, and like be getting dirty looks and shit. I was like, oh, they're not playing.
No, they take it serious.
And can I say, seeing myself on a billboard in the middle of Mexico City, I didn't handle that very well. I didn't know how to act. I was like,
whoa. Yeah.
So I didn't handle it correctly. You know, I feel like I could have been smoother, but I just want to be transparent. It was not. It wasn't smooth at all. It was just like a dumb look. Like is that me?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it's hard not to. Like, you're experiencing like wrestling with the biggest arena, and then having a billboard and working with all these talented wrestlers. Like,
of course.
Crazy.
I just want to be honest, like, because that trip, that whole tour sounded like all coolness, right? But I was I mucked it up. Don't give me too much credit. I mucked it up. I mucked it up. But yeah.
That's so cool. No, I love that story. Like you said, like there's no egos. Everybody's here to do one thing.
Everybody's just here to
work
do their
together
job and be better.
Exactly.
And you know, a rising tide raises the level of all the ships in the harbor. So like if one of us got better, everybody got better just from being around them, you know. And that's That's the best kind of scenario to be in, especially when you're trying to grow and be the best in this industry. What better place to be than an AEW or CMLL or WWE, a GCW or Ring of Honor, AAW. There's so many, AAA, this New Japan, Ref Pro, there's a lot of good wrestling guys. Just enjoy it. A PWG, just NWA, like MLW, Impact. There's something somewhere that you are gonna love and just enjoy.
Exactly. And in learning all
but
that.
Watch AEW. But watch AEW.
Yeah, AEW. Don't forget
watch
AEW.
Watch AEW. But yeah.
But going through all that experience and learning all that, and then coming to present day, going to AEW, like how much did it help to go in AEW and experiencing that and wrestling Tony Neese?
It taught me to wrestle the match and not the occasion. I wasn't thinking about it as, oh, this is my big TV debut. It was it's Tony Neese. It's a match. Just go have the match. Don't wrestle the match, not the occasion. Because if you wrestle the occasion, then it's gonna be too much for you, If I go out there and wrestle a match, then I'm just having a match. If I go out and go, oh, I got a match of Double or Nothing. Okay, well, I'll mess around and mess it up because I've made the match the occasion instead of just having the match. I've had a plethora of matches in my career. I don't mess those up. But anytime I get washed up in the occasion, that's where that leads to mistakes, which Tony Neese took advantage of. I mean, for me, my debut was I didn't want to be the brash, arrogant. I didn't want to get the Mexico treatment because I kind of came in like I owned the room in Mexico, and they did not take too kindly. So I tried to do the whole respectful thing, do the hand up, tap gloves, and he sucker punched me. I was like, okay, that's what we're doing here. And then Max Sterling. Anyway, but I'm trying to be nice. Just got here. I'm trying to be nice. There's a lot of people that I'm gonna run the fade on them. A lot of people got an ass whooping coming their way, but I gotta play nice. No, but I definitely tried not to wrestle the occasion. I try to wrestle the match and not the occasion.
I love that you mentioned earlier, be here like you've done it before, and you show that,
Absolutely. I was making that joke with some of my friends here. I was like, I hate teams that celebrate first downs. Do you guys not score touchdowns?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm concerned about a team that cheers every time they score a first down. That leads me to believe you guys don't score very much. So
right.
Just at least that's my mentality about acting like you've been there. Just kind of wrestle the match.
Exactly. Celebrate when it's done, when it's all over.
Yeah. But then after you celebrate when it's done, it's get back to the lab because you got a match next week. Going. So we don't got time for it. We got to get to work. We don't have time for it. So yeah.
Oh, of course. And doing that, experiencing, how was the AEW locker room? Did you get to meet Tony Khan? And if so, how was that experience?
Oh yeah, Tony Khan. We've talked a few times. He's always very polite, very kind, super helpful, super patient. Because it's taken, especially the new people trying to find their way in AEW. It's kind of it's a Shark Tank, But he's super patient with everyone, and he's a good guy to work for because he loves wrestling. He really just loves wrestling. He's so enthusiastic, and the enthusiasm is contagious, again, I'm cool breeze all day and tomorrow, and I'm getting ready to walk out on my first match, and he's like, you ready to have fun? And I'm like, yeah, I think I am. It's just, you know what I mean? He has a contagious personality. Cool. And then just guys like Mark Henry, who plays, his on-screen role is amazing, but he's invaluable to the wrestling industry in ways that I can't even describe because I haven't interacted with him enough. Like I've interacted with him enough to know that my first day, he set me straight on how I need to visualize what I want to do when I go out there. So I can only imagine the people that he's known 10, 15, 20 years. I can only imagine the impact he's had on them. So I believe a guy like a Mark Henry is invaluable. He's invaluable to not just AEW wrestling, period.
Oh yeah, especially someone like that experienced like the highest, in WWE, and then going from developmental and from his humble beginnings. It's just a perfect person to learn from.
Again, he's experienced all of it, and again, you get wiser from just sitting down and talking to him. Just a brilliant man, and and then like I've got friends there. A guy like a Keith, Thunder Rosa, Ricky Starks, Strickland, people I'm cool with. I mean, you've got your roster. You've got your roster of just talented performers. So it's a bunch of people who are good. They know they're good. They want the opportunity to show that they're good, and it's kill or be killed, man. And it's gonna be that every night, And so buckle up.
It's crazy.
It's stressful, but it's fun because you go.
Yeah.
I always got my work cut out for me. Every week, my work's cut out.
Keeps you on your toes.
It's a beautiful feeling. So absolutely.
And you have the best talent. It's like you're like iron sharpening iron at the same time.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants to be
the God's honest
the top
truth.
guy.
That's the God's honest truth. It's so real. That's the God's honest truth. And like, I promise you, at AEW, iron is sharpening iron on a daily basis, man. It's different. It's a roster full of unique and brilliant performers. It's insane. The tag division, the women's division. Yeah, like everybody, like, and it's only gonna get better. And it's only gonna get better. It's only gonna get better.
Yeah.
It's
crazy how they top each other every week. It gets better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how
it's only gonna get better. And everybody's motivated to get better because TK is, motivating and inspiring people to do that, and then it's just a solid locker room of legends, but also up and comers, but also solidified vets. So there's no lacking. There's like zero lacking, like at all. So I love it personally.
Oh yeah. And talk about that. We'll be seeing a round 2 from JD Griffey.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For sure. We in Houston tomorrow, so we'll see what happens.
Never know.
Yeah.
Nice. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
But thanks, for sure, we're wrapping it up right now. I want to ask a couple more questions. Learning so much, now I have to ask you, going to Mexico and with the luchadors and all the names you mentioned throughout the podcast, what is the best advice you've gotten and you still keep to this day?
The only thing real in wrestling is the money you make and the miles you travel. That's the only thing real in wrestling is the money you make and the miles you travel. Everything else is subjective.
No, that's true. For sure. And now of your experience too, like what if anybody right now is watching that wants to become a pro wrestler, what advice would you give them from your experiences?
The only thing real is the miles you travel and the money you make. It's the realest answer. But no, also I would say research and understand what you're in for. I think a lot of people fizzle out because they don't realize what they're signing up for. They just see the curtain, right? They see the entrance, they see the match, they see the pops, they see the boos, they see all of those things. They see the titles, they see the press conferences, they see all of that stuff. They don't see the weight cuts, they don't see the grueling travel. They don't see the 6-hour flight, the hour and a half drive to wrestle a match that's only 12 minutes.
Yeah.
They don't see that stuff, and so it's one of those things, like, I think they don't realize what they're signing up for, and it kind of turns people off, which is fine. It's not for everyone. But I think if some of those people, like, kind of weathered the storm. They see that they're capable of so much more. You know, I'm a firm believer that when your body's about to give out on you, your mind knows you got about 4 or 5 more reps in you. So, you know, let's go. Lock it up. So that's mine. Just kind of know what you're asking for, know what you're in for, and stick to your guns. Like if you're gonna do it and commit to it, you got to do it. There's so many performers I've seen. There's a wrestler. He's wrestled on AEW. A guy named Moonshine Mantell. We were wrestling. I had my middle finger dislocated, which it was like pointing that way. Like, so it was like this middle finger was like crossing with this finger. And I was like, shine my hand. And he was like, oh, that's gross. Turn your head. And he just put it back and we finished the match.
Wow.
And it wasn't weird. You know what I mean? Like I've seen wrestlers be hurt, like broken something, dislocated elbow, finish the match. Like it's one of those things, like that's just part of what we do to show. The camera's always rolling. Life has no rehearsal, bro. Like especially as a wrestler. Yeah. There's no rehearsal, bro. The camera's always rolling. And so you gotta be ready. Like, what are you doing when the camera's rolling? And I think like that's my advice for wrestlers coming in. Realize that reality. The sooner you realize that, the better. Because it'll mentally strengthen you to a point to where you can get through those bad days, because they're inevitable.
That's awesome advice. Like you said, I think a lot of people see the glitz and glamour of it, but they don't see the behind the scenes. Yeah. They're like grind to get there.
Yeah. They don't see when we shooting in the gym. They just see the game winner, exactly. Game 6 buzzer beater. They don't see when we shooting in the gym and it's just us, But,
oh yeah, no, for sure. That's awesome advice. But once again, I really appreciate you, sharing some time and being on the podcast.
Man, thanks for having me. Absolutely.
It's been a blast. Before we sign off, I want to ask, is there any, thing you want to plug in, any upcoming matches or social media you'd like to let the fans know?
Yeah, catch AEW every Wednesday and Friday, and then catch Dark on Monday and Tuesday on YouTube. Shout out to my teammates, Fight Lab. Shout out to Sime Star MMA, Team Cheetah Muay Thai, Sharpen Iron Academy. And shout out to you guys for having me on here. I appreciate it. And I've enjoyed it, man. Follow me on the social media, at JD Griffey on Twitter and at JD_Griffey on Instagram. Follow me on the social medias. Talk to me. I talk back. You know what I'm saying? And then shout out to the Yokoski, bro. Shout out to the Yokoski. We out here. Shout out to the Hidden Leaf, bro. Not the Hidden Leaf, the Hidden Rain Village. Rolling into, baby. We out here. But no, man. Thank you guys for having me. Everybody enjoy wrestling, because we're gonna be here a while. You feel me? Let's enjoy wrestling. And thank you guys for having me. Can't wait to be back.
Of course, there you have it, folks. Do yourself a favor and follow JD Griffey. Some great things are going to happen in AEW in the future of his career. All the links will be in the description below. So like I said, do yourself a favor and follow him. And there you have it. Thanks, guys, to another amazing episode of Championship Online Podcast with JD Griffey. Everyone have a good day.
Oh, thanks, man.